right now at 10.
If there was just simply a guardrail there, he would be alive today.
A horrible tragedy could make others safer. I'm Veronica Jean Seltzer. What one family hopes will change on this road.
Also tonight,
the South Bend community is rallying to save South Bend Public Schools. I'm Molly Jurasek, and I'll tell you what these folks are rallying for.
Plus, a celebrity trend makes it look glamorous, and local nurses say it's healthy for newborns and new moms. And
a firefighter's quick thinking saved the lives of a family of 6. I'm Shelley Leggett. His city is calling him a hero, but he says he was just doing his job.
The news starts right now.
This is Fox 28 News at 10.
I'm Tom Powell.
And I'm Farron Franzek. The search for a new superintendent of South Bend schools is well underway.
Yeah, but some say the public isn't getting enough input into the process.
Fox 28's Molly Jurasek just got back from a demonstration happening right before tonight's school board meeting. Molly.
Yeah, Farron, people rallied outside the school court building as the school board sat above in a closed session. The activists want to improve the district's reputation, starting with having a say in choosing the next superintendent.
Input that impacts
the group Community Action for Education,
save public schools,
demanding to have a say in who replaces Dr. Carol Schmidt as superintendent. Folks rallying here today say they want 3 things from the school board: more public impact, transparency, and for them to hire an educator as their superintendent. Olitha Jones say they feel the board isn't really taking public comment seriously.
We feel that this corporation has not did a very good job in keeping the community informed as to what is really taking place in our schools.
As they rally outside, the school board's having a private session with their search firm, HYA. Jones believes all meetings should be recorded and available to the public.
We should have equal say. So transparency, I think, is number 1.
But in a public meeting afterwards,
we strongly believe that the problems of our corporation are educational and require a superintendent who is an experienced educator.
A chance to share their input. The board's president says HYA is collecting opinions from focus groups, social media, surveys, and more.
They're going to compile that information and develop a composite of what it is that our community feels we need in a superintendent.
But he says it's not all the public's call.
The board's responsibility to hire a superintendent rests upon the board itself, and that's written into statute.
So, Farron, there were also 2 public forums held tonight at 6:30. Those were at Adams and Washington high schools, and they did overlap with the school board meeting.
So, Molly, with this, does the school have any applicants yet?
Yeah, the school board president actually tells me they have at least 7 already, and they plan to hire someone in May.
All right, thanks so much, Molly.
Taking a look at higher education now, St. Mary's College is set to announce its new president tomorrow. The new president, who has yet to be named publicly, will replace Carol Ann Mooney, who is retiring in May. Mooney is credited with establishing the Bells Against Violence office to support victims of sexual violence. We've reported for months now about the documentary The Hunting Ground, which was critical of how St. Mary's and Notre Dame have handled reports of sexual assault. The issue, something the new president is bound to have to address. Indiana University plans to give 18 sexual misconduct cases a second look. That's because the school's associate dean, who sat on the panel that initially heard all these cases, is facing sexual assault accusations himself. A woman says Dean Jason Caceres assaulted her at a conference in Fort Worth, Texas, after she had too much to drink. The university and police are now investigating. No charges have been filed. Caceres denies the accusations.
If you have a teenage son, then you probably know all about Axe body spray. The product is popular among teens looking to smell good every day. But this video from last November shows paramedics treating a Niles High School student whose family says he suffered an allergic reaction to the spray. Today, the superintendent announced the district is now prohibiting the use of body sprays and perfumes.
Well, as you may recall, we had a little bit of snow around here on Sunday, a little bit of snow around yesterday. You can look at our local radar. We're now getting a little bit of snow out there in Michiana as we speak. System, that's kind of a small system passing on by. It'll be with us overnight, maybe a few light flurries left over about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning as we get to a low temperature of 24 degrees. There really isn't much to this. It's not going to last very long. I'll let you know how much more precipitation is in store for the next 7 days here in Michiana when I come back in just a couple minutes.
A community continues to mourn the death of Autumn Mell and Stephen Rao. They were found dead Sunday morning in an overturned car that fell into Brandywine Creek.
Now the Berrien County Road Commission is investigating that crash to see if it could have been prevented. Fox 28's Veronica Jean Seltzer is live now where this happened. And VJ, tell us what you're looking at right now.
Well, sure, Tom. This is where emergency crews pulled the car out of the creek over the weekend. But now the focus is on this strip of road here. On this curve, there is no guardrail, and that is something that Rao's family wants to see change. It's peaceful now, but not long ago, this creek was a source of heartbreak. Heartbreak one family hopes others won't also suffer.
He lit up a room. He had a great smile.
Jeremy Diaz remembers his first cousin, Stephen Rao, as energetic and fun.
There's always that regret that you wished, oh, the last time I saw him, I wish I hugged him. I wish I had him over for dinner.
Like several others, Diaz searched for his cousin over the weekend. A different search party finally found Rao and Mel in the submerged car.
And I think probably one of the harder things to swallow initially was that he was right around the corner from my house.
Diaz says since his cousin was found here, one thing has dominated family conversation. Does this strip of road need a guardrail?
Take away anything else, and if there was a structure there, and there's the possibility of saving anyone's life, yes.
Michael Youngling is conducting an investigation right now to see if a rail should be installed.
If the speed is low enough when they strike it, it will keep them on the roadway.
Youngling says his research shows there has been one other crash in this spot since 1999. With money being tight, roads with heavier travel and bigger accident histories typically get priority. That makes sense to Diaz. What doesn't is another potential death.
Just the chance that something could happen is more than enough reason to put a guardrail up there.
The Road Commission will decide whether or not to place a guardrail here after the police complete their investigation. So far in their research, they do show that at one point in time, there were probably some wooden poles here as a form of protection.
And VJ, not that this is any consolation to the family, but the Road Commission told you today that they've actually seen a downward trend in fatal crashes on county roads and that most of these crashes are speed or alcohol related.
That's right, exactly. But Diaz says that regardless of whether alcohol is involved or not, the point is this place is a dangerous section of road.
All right, Veronica Jean Seltzer reporting live for us tonight. VJ, thank you.
To LaPorte County now, where officers found an injured man with more than 5.5 times the legal blood alcohol limit in his system. Police say they found the 27-year-old man lying near the roadway on K Street between 3rd and 4th. Now, officers say he had a head injury and a BAC of 0.453%. He was later taken to a local hospital. A somber memorial for the late Justice Antonin Scalia. A black wool drapes his chair and the bench in front of his seat at the U.S. Supreme Court. A public viewing will be held Friday with his funeral the following day. President Obama today called Scalia a larger-than-life presence on the bench with a brilliant mind and energetic style.
Yeah, he also addressed what he says will happen next to fill Scalia's seat.
The Constitution is pretty clear about what is supposed to happen now. Historically, this has not been viewed as a question.
After the president nominates someone, the Senate considers the person that he nominated, then either disapproves or confirms the nomination. But local U.S. Representative Jackie Walorski agrees with most Republicans right now who say the Senate should hold off on approving any nominee.
I think they absolutely should delay, and I think that when the next president gets in, and having just been elected by an entire nation, I think that's really important. So I absolutely think they should delay.
She went on to say the historic nature of this election is reason enough for the Senate to delay any decision. A local volunteer fireman, bad luck, actually helped save a family from a burning house.
Well, and now he's being honored by his city and state representative, Jackie Walorski, for his bravery and service.
Yeah, Fox 28's Shelley Leggett has this report.
David Lawson isn't a man of many words.
I really had a loss for words.
He is a man of action.
We get called at their worst time, and we're there to try to help them.
Early morning on January 19th, Lawson, a firefighter with the Rochester Fire Department, was out on a medical call. On his way home, he hit a deer, a turn of events that ended with 6 lives saved.
If nobody would have found it and that fire would have continued, it probably would have been a lot more tragic, and we would have been on a different side of it.
As Lawson was wrapping up at the accident scene, he saw smoke coming from the roof of a nearby house. Without thinking, the volunteer firefighter put his life on the line to save others, an action he says is second nature.
And there's nothing we can do to change it. We just got to make it better for them.
He called for backup, then started beating on the front door till the family was safely out. Rochester Mayor Ted Denton says actions like Lawson's are what make him proud to be a part of the community.
That's what makes a fire department. That's what makes a police department. These are people who have service in their middle name.
Denton called the 30 men of the department selfless and brave.
David represents all of them today, and we're very proud of our fire department.
Lawson remains humble, saying anyone would have done what he did.
I'm just glad I was there at the right place at the right time.
In Rochester, Shelley Leggett, Fox 28 News.
Representative Walorski awarded Lawson the Congressional Record, honoring him for his heroics as part of her Who's Who tour in Indiana.
Well, just 50 miles north, another fire department's honor is being displayed in the form of new furniture. Well, this is the new kitchen table at Mishawaka Station 3. The department says it was designed to capture a moment in time by showcasing pictures of the department's members through the years. Firefighter James Elliott says the camaraderie is an important part of their job.
So this is just like a family of its own. We call each other brothers and sisters. It's real important that we're able to sit down together and have meals together and just good fellowship together.
The department needed a new, bigger table when they combined stations 3 years ago. Several area businesses donated their service to help build the table. Well, it's pretty well known that breast milk is healthy for newborns.
But wait until you hear the benefits for moms and their hearts. Barron has a special report coming up on the news at 10. Plus, you'll see this.
So these are one of our little baby red Rumpta goodies.
Dose of cuteness, all thanks to the Potawatomi Zoo. Hey, John.
No, they're not talking about me. Take it easy. I'm going to tell you all about the weather. We've got a little bit of snow out there right now, but not going to be very conducive to snow before too long. We'll talk about that. And, of course, our 5-degree guarantee coming your way at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 28 News at 10 with Farron Franzak, Tom Powell, Chief Meteorologist John Fisher, and Sports Director Dean Hubbard. You're watching Fox 28 News at 10. Now back to Tom and Farron.
Community leaders in Chicago tonight are calling for a special prosecutor to investigate the Laquan McDonald murder.
Yeah, you remember he was shot and killed in 2014, but the officer involved wasn't charged until a year later after video was released. Activists say the Cook County State's attorney is not the right person for the job because it took her so long to charge Officer Jason Van Dyke.
We make this request because Anita Alvarez cannot discharge her duties to the people because she is so aligned with the Fraternal Order of Police.
Alvarez has yet to comment on the demand. Van Dyke is charged with first-degree murder and official misconduct. Backed up traffic in downtown Chicago today as people gathered to protest deportations. This was the scene outside the Regional Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office. The protest, organized by the Communities Against Deportations, they are demanding an end to immigration raids. Some of the protesters were taken into custody by police.
Here's your Fox 28 Capital Recap.
A medical waste company in Indianapolis is being fined for accepting fetal tissue.
The Indiana Department of Environmental Management has fined Medisure for accepting containers sent from a Missouri lab that services Planned Parenthood.
Now, it is not illegal in Indiana to dispose of fetal tissue, but Medisure didn't have the proper permits to do so.
And it was fined approximately $11,000, but will only pay $9,000 for cooperating with the investigation. Well, a debate is playing out in Indy over whether drug dealers should get tougher sentences. A bill that's been approved by the House would give anyone caught dealing more than 10 grams of cocaine or meth a mandatory 10 years behind bars. The bill's sponsor says it would keep dangerous dealers off the streets, but opponents argue the state just implemented a big overhaul to the criminal code, and they need more time to determine appropriate criminal sentences.
The state's Judicial Committee will be busy this week interviewing judges. One of Indiana's Supreme Court justices is retiring, so Governor Pence will appoint a replacement. Interviews begin tomorrow and will occur over the next month. The committee will pick 3 finalists and forward the names to the governor.
Voting in St. Joseph County could be getting a lot faster thanks to digital poll books. The decision to purchase the electronic devices was approved today by county commissioners. While the actual voting will still be done on paper, voters will be able to check into their polling places digitally. The county clerk says they will improve efficiency.
It will debut hopefully in the spring. We're working very diligently and very hard to get it so that it will be in the May primary.
The South Bend Tribune quotes the cost as just over $295,000 the first year. That'll buy tablets and mobile hotspots as well as provide software maintenance. The money is coming from the federal Help Americans Vote Act fund from 2002 following the Bush-Gore Florida recount.
Well, to national politics now.
Marco Rubio says flat out one of his opponents is lying about his record.
Also ahead, you've probably seen the images on social media, celebrities trying to promote breastfeeding. A local nurse explains the benefits to your baby and to your heart.
Then later in sports, the incredible opportunity that's inspired this Notre Dame football player to just walk away from his final season. Former UN Secretary General Boutros Boutros-Ghali has died.
Yeah, the Egyptian diplomat helped negotiate his country's landmark peace deal with Israel. He worked to establish the UN's independence, particularly from the United States. Some blame him for misjudgments in the failures to prevent genocides in Africa and the Balkans. He was 93 years old. Pope Francis continued his Mexico trip today, arriving in the city of Morelia. He was met with thousands of enthusiastic supporters filling up a stadium to hear his speech. The Pope will bring his South American trip to an end tomorrow when he travels to Juarez to pray for undocumented immigrants who have died trying to cross the border into the United States.
President Obama was in California today attending a meeting on the last day of the Asian Summit. He met with Southeast Asian leaders to discuss foreign policy, trade issues, and China's increased militarization. An update tonight on the situation in Syria now.
Last week, a ceasefire was issued from the International Syria Support Group to take effect this Thursday. Aid deliveries will now be sent to several regions. Today, the U.S. State Department commented on the nation's involvement in the crisis.
But there's no plans to put ground troops, at least in the part of the U.S., into Syria.
Hundreds of thousands of Syrians have died in the 5-year conflict now, with over 13 million people fleeing the violence. Government officials in Syria have not officially responded to the proposed ceasefire.
Now, primetime politics.
Yeah, primetime politics featuring a lot of finger pointing tonight.
First, GOP candidate Jeb Bush taking on Donald Trump over military spending. Trump says there is so much waste and corruption that the U.S. should build up the military by being more efficient, not by doling out more cash.
The leading candidate for president on our side says that we don't need to increase spending for the military. I guess he thinks he can use his real estate skills to somehow magically bring to light the weapon systems necessary to keep our warfighters safe.
Bush went on to say that Trump's position is not based on reality. While Bush was bearing down on Trump, Marco Rubio took it a step further. Rubio called his running mate Ted Cruz a liar, saying he distorts his views on same-sex marriage, abortion, and immigration. But Trump is on Rubio's side this time, firing the big guns.
I've never seen a human being lie so much. He lies about everything. He'll take your record, like I talked to you about Obamacare. He'll say Trump loves Obamacare. Loves Obama. How do you fight that? Guy says he loves Obamacare. I hate Obamacare.
So I think this is very disturbing when you have a candidate that now on a regular basis just makes things up. And especially in this era where everything is out there and everything is seen and instantly reacted to, you can't get away with that stuff.
GOP candidates have been strengthening their attacks against one another since the last Republican debate, which is when the gloves came off.
Well, the bickering between GOP candidates all playing out, of course, before the South Carolina primary, which is now just days away. New polls from CNN ORC show Trump is leading with 38%. Ted Cruz is second and Rubio trails behind in third. And despite having his brother and father step in to help on the campaign trail, Jeb Bush is in fourth, followed by Ben Carson and John Kasich. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is 18 points in front of Bernie Sanders, with her lead resting heavily on the state's black voters and women.
To the Democrats, they've also been fighting with each other, but not over who's a liar. Reverend Jesse Jackson talked to CNN today about the Democratic minority vote in South Carolina. He said Sanders hits a raw nerve, but Clinton also has credentials.
On the other hand, Hillary has such a long resume of relationships. So really you have two decent people competing for the vote. But my concern is that the issue of substance must be able to break through the temptation to attack and counterattack.
Now, the black vote in South Carolina makes up more than half the voters in the state, with the Democratic primary coming at the end of this month. Fox 28 is proud to be your Indiana bicentennial station.
Yeah, throughout the year, we'll show you some major moments in Hoosier history, and today's is pretty special for us here in Michiana. On this day in 1852, Henry and Clement Studebaker opened the H&C Studebaker Blacksmith Shop at the corner of Michigan and Jefferson, of course, right here in South Bend. The company would become the world's largest manufacturer of wagons and buggies, and later, a major auto manufacturer.
And now, here's your Fox 28 News 5-degree guarantee.
All right, our predicted high today of 30 degrees. The actual high turned out to be 31 degrees. I am obviously within 5 there. We'll add that $28 more. Almost $400 now in the 5-degree guarantee jackpot. Almost $400 to someday give away to someone who is registered on Fox28.com. That should be you if you haven't done so. Fox28.com. It's just that simple. All right, stay with us. Upcoming at the end of the show, a little more information about all that warm air that's on the way to Michigan. In the meantime, here are your day stats. We will be right back.
It is a topic you may be uncomfortable talking about, but you shouldn't be because it's important, and that's exactly why supermodels like Giselle are sharing pictures like this one on Instagram.
I have to say, I hope I look that great when I'm a mom. But women have always known that breastfeeding is great for your baby, but a new study actually finds it's even more beneficial for you, the mother. Benefits that all tie into February's Heart Health Month.
Breastfeeding is healthy for babies. We've known that for a long time.
Celebrities like Miranda Kerr, Alanis Morissette, Alyssa Milano, and Giselle started the new year by sharing their intimate moments of motherhood to inspire more mothers to do the same.
More and more research is showing that it is beneficial to moms.
That new research published in the Lancet Medical Journal finds breastfeeding helps prevent major health risks like heart disease, heart attacks, hypertension, high cholesterol, obesity, and diabetes.
You know, not only is it helping your baby, it's helping you.
But even more so, research finds it helps mentally with depression, and breastfeeding could actually save your life by helping to prevent breast and ovarian cancer.
Our initiation rate here is about 90% of moms do start breastfeeding. However, moms need a lot of support. Breastfeeding is not easy.
That connection.
Hillary Tribby breastfed her first two daughters.
It has helped me in a lot of ways. Your body heals a lot quicker.
And she'll do the same for 38-week-old Rowan.
I remember immediately feeling the benefits. I don't know, I remember my nurses telling me and my doctors telling me that I was healing better right away.
The benefits could save lives. The study estimates if all women breastfed, there would be 800,000 fewer deaths in children and 20,000 fewer breast cancer deaths.
Moms that do breastfeed, even though they say it's one of the hardest things that they've done, it's also one of the most fulfilling things that they've ever done.
South Bend Memorial Hospital says although breastfeeding can be very challenging for new moms, they are determined to help every single mother out there. They have community meetings, seminars, and even support groups to help.
Now to the latest on the Zika virus outbreak. Experts in South America have debunked a theory that linked pesticides to an increase in birth defects thought to be caused by the mosquito-borne virus. It comes after an environmentalist from Argentina posted the claim a certain chemical used to fight mosquitoes actually caused birth defects and not the Zika virus itself. Big news today in the battle against cancer. Researchers in Seattle have discovered a new way to treat the disease. Immunotherapy, it's called. It takes white blood cells from a person, genetically modifies them, and then puts them back into the patient where they can block cancer growth. Though the research is preliminary at this point, patients with blood cancers have shown response rates of over 80%. Well, it is the dream of many young athletes to run out onto the field to play for the University of Notre Dame.
But one player is actually running off to play like a champion for another incredible opportunity.
Play like a champion.
Got it.
You did there, yeah. Next, some Irish stars take time off the court for an important cause.
Former Secretary Treasury is saying that we ought to get rid of the $100 bill altogether.
And give them all to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Larry Summers says discontinuing them makes it harder on thieves, actually, because big bills can mean cheats can carry large amounts of cash around with ease. While a recent Harvard Business School study suggests that getting rid of the big bills wouldn't have any effect on commerce. The study goes on to recommend also scrapping the UK's £50 note, the 1,000 Swiss franc, is it franc? Franc or franc? Okay, we'll go with that. And the 500 euro. Well, jewelry from the wife of the Philippines' former dictator is about to be auctioned off. Imelda Marcos was infamous for her shoe collection and lavish spending. Now, $21 million worth of her jewelry will be sold off, including a rare pink diamond that is the size of a grape. Her husband, Ferdinand, was ousted in 1986. The duo accused of stealing billions from the Filipino people.
Well, no one looks forward to a doctor's checkup, but maybe they would if they were this cute. The Potawatomi Zoo recently posted this video of their agouti babies having their very first wellness exam. Agoutis, they're similar to guinea pigs, but are larger and have longer legs. Now, the babies here, a boy and a girl, were born late last month and have yet to be named. Now, the zoo is holding another of its Saturday winter days this coming weekend, so you might get a chance to see them. Chicago Shedd Aquarium is introducing the newest member of their family. Pup 719 is now 10 weeks old, but was just a month old when the baby otter was rescued off the coast of California. The team at Shedd has been providing constant care for the pup, and they describe her as a Spitfire. What do you guys say about me? This story I love. It hits home for me. An aspiring young dancer faced some really heartbreaking news.
Yeah, but with the help of some new technology, she might get her independence back to show what she's made of on the stage. Fox's Abby Eden has more.
Gabby Shull has been dancing for years. It's this teenager's favorite hobby. So her diagnosis when she was just 9 years old was potentially devastating. Gabby had osteosarcoma. It required her to have a portion of her leg amputated.
My main surgery was June 15th, 2011, the rotationplasty surgery. And what they did was take out my knee, which is the portion that had the cancer. So now my ankle acts as my knee, and whenever I point my ankle, it straightens the prosthetic.
Gabby is now back to walking, even dancing.
Dancing means a lot to me. I think it's the main thing that motivated me to keep going and to learn to walk again, because I just really wanted to get back on the stage.
But the one thing she could not do was dance on point, and that's where Keith Andrews came in. Gabby told her prosthetist that she wanted to get a foot that allowed her to dance on point, and he wasn't sure he could ever help her achieve that dream. But he tried.
I wasn't sure how this was going to work, and then she immediately got up on point and started moving around and practicing, and like, whoa, this is going to work better than I expected it would.
This video showing Gabby testing out her new prosthetic went viral. Millions of views in a couple days. A simple dance, no choreography or flashy outfits. Just Gabby proving there doesn't need to be flashing lights for a performance to make an impact. And there doesn't need to be two full legs for a dancer to become a star.
I've learned not to judge people by how they look or what's different about them, because you don't really know what the situation was or what they've been through.
How cool is that? That was Abby Eden reporting. The prosthetics she'll uses will be adjusted as she grows to match her expanding abilities. Well, the Fighting Irish are fighting for Flint as the women's basketball team today loaded pallets of water for delivery to the Michigan City. Their effort started late last month, and in that time, they've raised over $5,000 as well as gathered about 300 cases of water. Flint, as you know, has been in the midst of a water contamination crisis.
I think it's good that they learn to have a social conscience. We've been given so much here at Notre Dame. It's great for them to be able to give things back to the community.
Well, the majority of the donations were bought by fans to last month's game versus Virginia Tech.
Dean is here with us now. And Dean, you know, you get a chance to play for Notre Dame. I mean, you take that opportunity. You play all 4 years as much as you can, but one player is not doing that.
Yeah, a football player giving up the dream of an NFL. Yeah. We're going to talk about that and why. Plus, a little high school basketball. Bodies were flying everywhere at Penn tonight. We'll have that and much more coming up next.